In this video, we're going to be talking about adding and removing items from your list, because there's going to be times that you need to take things out. There's going to be times that you need to add things. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So inside of Visual Studio Code here, I have a file, and we're in Python lessons, and here's the file name itself, list-adding-removing items.py. All right. Now I do have some notes on here. There's two primary methods for adding. We're going to talk about adding things to a list here first. So two primary ways to do that. One is to utilize a method called append, and that will add something to the end of the list. And then sometimes you're going to want to index an item in between or at a certain index in your list. So we're going to go over both of those here. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and create a real simple list, just like we've done before with some fruits here. And we're just going to have apple, banana, and cherry. Now, let's say, for example, that we would like to add the fruit date to the end of this list. Well, the way that we're going to do that is, we'll put a little note in here. We're going to add an item to the end of the list here. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to utilize the word append. So first we want to identify the list, and then we're going to use that dot notation to invoke the method of the append, right? And then we want to provide it with what do we want to put. And of course we can print this out, save it, and run it, and you can see that date is added to the end. It's added to the very last index of this list. Now, if we're looking to do the same thing, but maybe we want to add it to a specific index. So let's go ahead and take the same fruits that we had before. So I'll go ahead and bring this up here. And this time we would like to insert the orange at the index of 1. So let's take a look at what that syntax might look like. And what we're going to do here is first we need to identify the list, and then we're going to utilize this keyword that we see right. It takes two parameters here, two arguments, and the first one is where do you want it to go? Well, we want it to go in the very first index, and then the comma followed by what do you want to go in there? So we want the orange to go in there. So if we were to go ahead and save this and print it out here, I'm just going to highlight what we need and print it. You can see that the orange is now inserted in there at the first index because we said that we wanted it to go in the 1 index position. All right. So hopefully this is making some sense to you all with whether we can add things by appending or we can utilize the insert if we really care where to go. All right. Next, we're going to talk about the removal of items that would be in a list. So let's go ahead and go over that. So there's several methods on how we can remove an element or remove an item from. Here is the ways that we can do this here. And we're going to go over all of them to show you what they mean. And again, we're not looking for you all to memorize some of these things, but just take in and remember, oh, I remember that I need to add something to a list. Oh, I know that we can do this. I just need to remember syntactically how do I need to approach this. So that's what I'm wanting you all to guide at so far. So the very first one on how we can remove things, we have something here called a pop. Again, we have something called a remove, a clear, as well as a delete. So as far as the pop example, and what's really unique about the pop is if you don't give it any type of parameters or anything like that, a very last item in the list. And to tell you the truth, I really think, and again, let me go ahead and put some code up here so we can see it in a live example here, is it's almost like a Pez dispenser where you're popping out the last pill that's on the list, right? And so that's what I can think about when I'm thinking about pop. Now, pop is really an interesting method out here because not only does it remove the last item on the list, but it also returns something that we can actually store in a variable. And in this case here, it says that we're removing the last item. That is definitely true. And so if we were to print out fruits, this is what we will end up getting. And so if I go ahead and highlight this here and run it, we can see right here that we are getting apple and banana, right? It removed that last item. It popped it right off. And like I said, if we store the returned value from this method, it will give us what it popped off. So if we were to print last item, we are going to get cherry. So let me go ahead and save that and run it. And notice that we do in fact get the cherry. So that is a way of removing something, is using the pop. Just remember, we're popping off that last item, and it does give you a return value. It's got done popping off. Let's go ahead and look at removing something by an index utilizing pop, because you are able to do this as well. And let's go ahead and run this here. So we can remove an item by index. And notice that we're still utilizing fruit, we're using pop, and then this time we're supplying an index. In this case here, we're doing 0. If we were to look at this as a whole and think about this programmatically as we're running line by line here, this pops off the end. So cherry is gone. And if we pop off the 0 position, happens to be apple, that's what's being stored in the first item here. What's the leftover fruit? Well, if apples are gone, cherry's gone, well, the only thing left is a banana. So let's go ahead and run this just to validate what we just got done typing in here. And you'll notice that the apple is what got popped off because we used that 0 position, and banana is what is left over. So that is pop. Again, we were able to pop off the last one by not providing any kind of index. And then if we do provide an index like we did here, you are able to remove it. Now let's talk about a method that's out there that will remove an item. And I wanted to demonstrate with this because it is just a little bit tricky, because remove will or the very first instance of it, and it will remove it, even though there might be multiple items in that list that are the same. Here's an example. Go ahead and scroll up here. We have a brand new fruit list here. We have apple, banana, cherry, and then banana. If we do fruits.remove and we choose banana, it's not going to remove all of them. It's only going to remove the very first occurrence of it. So let's go ahead and save this, run it, and we'll demonstrate that we do get the apple, the cherry, and the banana. It found this banana here and removed it. That's what remove does. If you're ever looking to clear out a list, maybe you're thinking of a game, you built up some in scoring, and you needed to clear out that list, a real quick, easy method that Python gives us is the .clear. So what does that look like? So let's go back to our fruits example here. We have apple, banana, cherry. Again, really doesn't matter. And all we're doing here is calling out that list, and we're utilizing the clear method, left and right parentheses, and it's going to clear out that entire list so that if we were to print it or access it, it will have a length of 0. It will be empty. So again, if I highlight this here and run it, we get the empty square brackets. So the clear actually clears it out. There's nothing left inside there. Now, as far as remove something, just so that you are aware of it, is the delete, and that's going to be signaled by the keyword del, all lowercase. And so what does that look like? Let me go ahead and put that up here on the screen for us. So again, we have our fruits. We have apple, banana, cherry. If we want to delete by index here, what you're looking at is the square brackets and providing the index. Very similar to pop and finding the index. However, this doesn't return anything if you decide to need the access to the value that you're removing. So again, if I were to save this and run it, we will just get apple and cherry. All right. So just wanted you to be aware of all of these different method types that are out there when it comes to the list. Again, the more practice that you guys have with this type of lists, type of data type, more practice, it'll just become second nature to you. All right. So we'll see you in the next video.